Tonight, it is Virginia Beach. We're coming to you with the worst kind of breaking news imaginable. John Berman here in for Anderson. Tonight, our hearts go out to Virginia Beach, Virginia, where police say a city employee opened fire in a municipal building and took at least 11 lives before police took his. 6 more people are in the hospital. The city, needless to say, is in shock. And this is all unfolding moment by moment in the words and images we all think we are so familiar with until it happens where we live. And it is happening where we live. Tonight, it is Virginia Beach.
This is the most devastating day in the history of Virginia Beach. The people involved are our friends, co-workers, neighbors, colleagues. At this point, I would like to turn things over to Chief Severa to give you the information that we have so far.
The mayor, as you saw, could hardly continue. The police chief, understandably, struggled as well.
Right now, we have a lot of questions. The whys, they will come later. Right now, we have more questions really than we have answers. We're a little more than 2 hours into this event, and we use the word event, that's a cop term, this devastating incident that happened that none of us want to be here talking about, this devastating incident which is going to change the lives of a number of families from our city.
Local station WVEC managed to speak with a witness. Her name is Megan Banton. She works inside the building.
We just heard that there was an active shooter, and we just barricaded ourselves in offices to make sure that we were all safe, and I called 911 just to get them to come there as fast as possible.
Can you take me to what was going on right at the point when you realized something was terribly wrong?
When my boss basically was like, "This is not a drill, get down, call 911," and that's when I called 911, and we all just ran in her office and closed the door.
Did you see anybody actually get injured?
I didn't physically see anybody get injured, so.
And which department were you in?
Public utilities.
Public utilities. Did you hear anything from anyone about who the suspect might be?
No.
Just tell us about the reaction. I mean, everyone getting down, running around, not knowing what's happening. I mean, this is something no matter how much training you go through, it's something we can't prepare you. Just tell us about that.
Basically, we just wanted to try to keep everybody safe as much as we could, and just trying to stay on the phone with 911, just because we wanted to make sure they were coming. They couldn't come fast enough, and just making sure that they were.
How long did that 911 wait feel like?
Hours. Yeah.
And you said those shots were very clear from where you were on the second floor.
Yeah.
How many people were in the office with you?
The office that we were in probably had about 20 people, just barricaded. Yeah.
Were you literally just, I'm assuming, hugging one another, holding one another?
Yeah. And we had the desk barricaded against the door.
And what were you hearing? So the desk is barricaded against the door.
What were you hearing outside?
What were you
hearing? We heard gunshots. We kept hearing gunshots, and we kept hearing the cops saying, "Get down," and it was very muffled, but the stairwell was right next to the office, so we kept hearing like people talking, and we heard the canines come up the steps.
Did you hear the suspect saying anything?
We couldn't hear him saying anything or her saying anything.
With the gunshots, tell me about the rapid fire gunshots. Like, what are we dealing with?
I don't know, honestly.
Lots and lots?
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, you mentioned it was muffled. You did say that you guys try to do everything you can. I asked you, what do you want people at home to know? People are praying for you. People are making sure you guys are okay. What do you really want them to know about today and what happened in there?
Just do all that you can to try to make sure everybody's safe, because that's all we were trying to do, was just make sure everybody was safe.
Can you talk about how close-knit Public Works is? I mean, that's like a family in there, right?
Yeah.
Talk to us about how this is more than the coworkers, right? This is like a home to you. You're here every day with these people. I mean, that has to hit home.
Yeah. We just were trying to text everybody because like you said, like we knew everybody, but we didn't know where everybody was at that time. So we were just trying to find out, like, you know, if our friends were safe, if the people that we knew were in the office were safe.
Describe to me how you would describe this type of evil.
I just don't know why anyone would do something like that. I don't know what would possess somebody to just come in and just start shooting at people.
You have seen
this around the country, and now
right. So
it's
how
come
does it feel
all,
to know it's happening
all
right
across
here in
the
your
country,
hometown?
and now it's come here.
It's just surreal, and like I said before, you see this on the news all the time, and you just, you know, or you pray for the people and you just hope that they're okay, but you never think it's going to happen to you. But when it happens to you, it's just a totally different experience, and you think about your family, you think about like everybody that you know, just pray that they're safe.
What is your name again? What is your name?
Megan Banton.
And Megan, what do you do?
Banton.
What do you do next after a day like this? You go home and just hug your family. Talk about how you go about the rest of your day, knowing what just occurred.
I'll probably have a lot of trouble sleeping at night, but yeah, just going home, hugging my family. I have a 11-month-old baby at home, and all I could think about was him and trying to make it home to him.
She will get home tonight, but 11 others will not. As we said, this story is evolving. The crime scene is active, and the numbers sadly could change. Right now, let's get more on what we do and don't know from CNN Shimon Prokupecz. Shimon, what more are you learning at this hour?
Right. So what we've learned is that this was a disgruntled employee there who was, according to the police and local authorities, that he was still employed there inside that building. And essentially, that's all we know about the shooter at this point. We don't have any information on the victims. Obviously, that is something police are still working. They're working to identify the victims. But the thing here is the way the police described the way this shooting unfolded. They say that it happened on multiple floors. Police were called. They responded fairly quickly, and they were able to intercept. They interceded. They were able to stop the suspect. They say there was a shootout, and they injured him. They killed him. A police officer was shot. He was saved by his bulletproof vest, the police say. That officer is recovering. And I think we're going to hear a lot of stories, as we've heard from the witnesses and from the police as we go forward, some of the heroic efforts to try and prevent more people from being injured, more people from being killed. Because when you listen to the police describe this, the police chief there, and how he said that the shooter went from floor to floor, he knew where he was going. He was shooting people indiscriminately, just firing, opening fire on people inside that building. So the police response here is going to be a key part of this, in that it prevented more people from ultimately getting injured. And now we have just a major crime scene here. Bodies still on the scene, victims being identified, and the FBI, the ATF, the Virginia State Police, all there on scene, working through the building, processing the crime scene. And now, we will learn more stories, more heroic stories, and the victims, and we will start to learn more about them and who they are, and just deeply how affected deeply this community is going to be by this shooting, John.
And Shimon, we are expecting another news conference from officials tonight. We will bring that to you all live as soon as it happens, because these details are just coming in. We do know it happened next door to City Hall in the operations area of the municipal center. What more do we know about that, Shimon?
Yeah, that's what the police said. The police described this as the operations building of the city, the public works area. So it's probably some of the utility workers, some of the road workers, some of the other folks who really keep the city running, perhaps. And these were the victims. These were the people that were inside this building. There was a school administration building next door as well. They were placed on lockdown. There was a courthouse nearby as well attached to this building. So it's really the nerve center, it sounds like, of this city, of Virginia Beach, where this shooting took place. When you look at what time this happened just after 4 o'clock. It was towards the end of the day, so people perhaps were getting ready to leave, but it sounded like there were a lot of people in the building at the time of this shooting. And if really you have to see and we'll learn, I guess, from the police about their response and what they had to deal with when they found the shooter finally after he went floor to floor shooting. But right now, essentially all we know is that this was on multiple floors, lots of victims, And now we wait to learn more.
All right, Shimon Prokupecz, thank you very much. Stand by, because CNN's Ryan Nobles is now with us. Well, they understand some new information on the killer. Ryan is now joining us by phone. What have you learned?
Well, John, I've been in touch with Virginia government officials across the board for the last hour or so since the shooting first came down. And much as what we've seen from the press conference that took place, there's just really a state of shock. And it appears as though Virginia Beach is the law enforcement agency that's kind of spearheading this effort. As Shimon reported, the most extensive information we've learned on the shooter right now is that he is a disgruntled employee. We don't know exactly what led to him becoming disgruntled, but he is someone that worked in that municipal building in some way, shape, or form.